Welcome to the video class series, dear students. Today we will continue with our history, chapter number 1, Rise of European Nationalism. Today our topic is unification of Germany. What do you mean by unification of Germany? It means that before a German became one nation, it was divided into many confederation or smaller states. Okay, so how this Germany was united, that is very important topic of this chapter. And we learned in our previous video that the liberal nationalists, they wanted to unite Germany as one nation. So they gathered in Frankfurt Parliament. But we all know that somehow they failed their objective. Therefore, first point very clearly says, in May 1848, the liberals attempted to set up a constitutional monarchy at Frankfurt, but they failed and their work was suppressed by the monarchy, military and Junkers. Okay, Junkers are the landlords or landowners, zamindar. They were called Junkers. Okay, so remember, after the failure of the German National Assembly, German National Assembly, it was organized by liberal nationalists. Prussian Chief Minister Otto von Bismarck takes the lead in German unification. In other words, now Prussia, one of the major states of Confederation of Germany, Prussia understood that Germany should be united. It should be made into one nation. So Prussia took on the leadership of the movement for national unification, and its chief minister Otto von Bismarck was the architect of this process. Remember, he's called the architect of German unification. Okay, chief minister Otto von Bismarck. So what he did, he planned the unification with the help of the Prussian army and bureaucracy. Okay, so he conducted 3 wars with France, Austria and Denmark over 7 years, and thus ensuring German unification. So the process was completed with the crowning of Kaiser William I as King of Germany. So in January 1871, the Prussian King William I was proclaimed German Emperor in a ceremony held at Versailles. There is some description in your textbook also. On the bitterly cold morning of 18 January 1871, an assembly comprising the princes of German states, representatives of the army, important Prussian ministers including the chief minister Otto von Bismarck, gathered in the unheated hall of mirrors in the palace of Versailles to proclaim the new German Empire headed by Kaiser William I of Prussia. Remember, the nation building process in Germany had demonstrated the dominance of Prussian state power. The new state placed a strong emphasis on modernizing the currency. Number 2, modernizing the banking, legal and judicial system in Germany. Prussian measures and practices often became a model for the rest of Germany. So Germany was united not by the efforts of liberal nationalists, but by the efforts of conservative nationalists. Okay, and who is called the architect of German unification? The chief minister Otto von Bismarck. Now another important topic in this chapter is about unification of Italy. See, we learned that unification of Germany was brought by the conservative forces. Now, similar thing happened in Italy also. Remember, the unification of Italy was not brought by liberal nationalists. Of course, they tried it, but they failed it. Let us see, point wise. Italy was divided into 7 states, of which only one, Sardinia Piedmont, was ruled by an Italian dynasty. Okay, so Italy was a confederation of 7 states. Ideas of Italian unification, first it was given by Giuseppe Mazzini. We learned about Giuseppe Mazzini and I presented you some of his important features. So Giuseppe Mazzini, through his secret society called Young Italy, wanted to unite Italy, the 7 states, into one. But somehow he was failed and he was arrested. After his failed revolutions in 1831 and in 1848, now the lead or the responsibility was taken by the King of Sardinia, Victor Emmanuel II. Victor Emmanuel II now understood that Italy, which is the 7-state confederation, it need to be made into one nation. So he took the responsibility. So again, uniting Italy came into the hand of conservatives. Chief Minister of Sardinia, Count Cavour. Now here, King of Sardinia, Victor Emmanuel, gave the responsibility to Chief Minister of Sardinia, who is called Count Cavour. He led the unification process by diplomatic alliance with France to defeat Austria and unify its northern territories. So, if question comes, who is the architect of Italian unification, then you have to write Count Cavour, the Chief Minister of Sardinia. In the southern part, Giuseppe Garibaldi led the movement by involving local peasant support to drive out the Spanish rulers. Okay. Thus, the process of unification was completed with the crowning of Victor Emmanuel II as the King of Italy in 1861. These are important points you have to remember. Here you can see some of the pictures of the nationalists or those who contributed to unite Italy. Their names are given along with the picture: Mazzini, Victor Emmanuel II, Garibaldi, and Count Cavour. Now, we will also understand about unification of Great Britain. Now, what happened in Germany and Italy, the political development which took place in Germany and Italy. In Great Britain, the situation was very different. Let us see what happened. Was Great Britain got united as a nation with bloodshed, lots of revolutions, or some kind of revolts, or it gradually turned into a nation? Unlike other European unifications, this was not the result of a nationalist revolt. So first point very clearly says the unification which was brought, which came into existence in Great Britain, was not the result of some kind of revolt and bloodshed. Okay, British Isles means islands, consisted of 4 main ethnic regions. Number 1, English. Number 2, Welsh. Number 3, Scottish. And number 4, Irish. The decision for unification was taken by the British Parliament. Remember, it was the British Parliament who took the decision what to do with. Okay. In 1707, through an Act of Union, England took control of Scotland, completely subjugating their identity. So the Parliament passed an act in 1707 called Act of Union, and like this, Scotland was brought under the control of England. Then in 1801, through another Act of Union, Ireland too was made a part of the Kingdom of Great Britain. There was a great effort to impose the symbols of British culture over Scotland and Ireland. If you see the geographical map, you will find that there are 3 main islands there. One Scotland, then Ireland, and then England. Okay, so in unification of Great Britain, we see that the British Parliament, which was England basically, it through its passing of some acts and imposing those acts for Scotland and Ireland, it brought those 2 islands under their dominion. So here we do not find any kind of revolt taking place, any kind of revolution taking place. Okay, but last point is very important. When British brought Scotland and Ireland under its control, then it began to impose its English language and culture on Scotland and Ireland. Okay, so if question comes, what is the unique feature of unification of Great Britain, then these are the important points which you have to write.